I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto-Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Dr. Max Lee, the CEO of Computecoin. Dr. Lee, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, and it's my pleasure to be here and talking to you guys. And I think we can have, lots of fun for people to understand and know Computecoin.
Definitely, yeah. There's lots to talk about, and the infrastructure of the future of Web3 and the Metaverse is something that is absolutely necessary for us to move into the next generation and the technological revolution. And your team is putting a great part into that. So I'm excited to dive into Computecoin, and I would love for you to start off our conversation by just giving a high-level overview of the solutions and the technology that your team is bringing into the space, and then we'll dive into the details.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, basically, Computecoin is trying to be the infrastructure for Web3 and the Metaverse. That's basically everyone is talking about Web3 and the Metaverse right now, right? There's tons of projects that are working on to build these cool applications in Web3. But unfortunately, after we did lots of interview on these projects early last year, we figured out a big missing piece in the whole industry is all these Web3 applications, they are still deployed on Web2 infrastructure. What I mean, Web2 infrastructure is like AWS or Google Cloud or Ali Cloud. It's a centralized cloud service provider, right? So by doing so, these Web3 and Metaverse applications, they already see lots of performance limitations, including Roblox, Decentralized. If you guys check out the news recently, right, there's lots of concerns about the performance of their platform, basically. And all these things, these performance limitations goes down to the infrastructure problem. It's all because they are still using Web2 infrastructure, which doesn't make any sense. The Web3 applications running on Web2 infrastructure, of course, you're going to suffer a lot from these limitations. And the key thing is the cost and the latency, right? And the scalability. So that's the motivation for us to build a new generation infrastructure. We call it Web3 infrastructure for Web3 and Metaverse applications. So.
Great, thank you. Great intro. And you're completely right that most of the internet is hosted on these cloud servers right now. And I've heard about decentralized cloud computing. I'm guessing that's not the only thing, but that is an important step in moving Web3 applications into that same technology that's hosting it. And you talked there about the cost and the latency and the issues that right now in hosting using this kind of infrastructure. Can you talk about Computecoin's technology and how you're solving those problems?
Yeah, that's so basically once we identify this problem, right? So the solution is basically it's a full stack of a technology. So it's not, sometimes when I talk to my team, I say, oh, we are not a blockchain project, we are a tech firm. So because in our solution, blockchain is only one technology used in our solution. So we have edge computing, we have networking science, we have AI, we have merge mining, we have a bunch of very cutting edge technologies in a solution, basically. So the basic idea of a Computecoin is this. So we are a aggregator, first of all, just like Expedia. So Expedia integrates all the hotels, resorts, rental cars, right? And for people who want to travel, you go to Expedia or bookings, right? To book to check the availability, to compare the price, and then you book your hotel, right? Rather than you're going to Hilton's website or Sheraton's website to compare the availability and the price, right? So, and this is the basic idea of a Computecoin. So we are not building our own data centers like what Amazon, AWS did 20 years ago. They bring lots of investors' money to build the data center from one place to another, right? They spent 10 years to build the whole stuff and bring lots of money. So we are like Expedia, we are integrating all these good computing rigs or machines, right? So, and then, of course, this is a decentralized way, in a decentralized way. And then to the top, we provide very comprehensive developer tools and to let these developers' life is easy. What does it mean? That means like the current big hurdles for the developers to deploy their Web3 applications on decentralized infrastructure is there's a big learning curve for them. They don't know how to know that, how to do that. For example, if you ask a developer, say, hey, I want to host my website, right, on AWS or Google Cloud, they can have it done in 1 hour or two, right? Because he got familiar with all the APIs, SDK, all the stuff, right? It's pretty quick. But you say, okay, now I want to host my website on Filecoin, for example, decentralized storage infrastructure. The engineer is gonna spend, I don't know, maybe a month to learn from the scratch what is blockchain, what is Filecoin, what is their tokenomics mechanism, how can I deploy my stuff on Filecoin. It's a big learning curve, right? So what Computecoin want to do is like we provide, make them their life as easy as possible. We provide, we call in our white paper, we say we're going to provide a unified API, which is exactly the same. I will not say exactly the same, but roughly the same API and SDK as the Web2 cloud service providers. And then these developers, they just easily call our API, which they're quite familiar with, right? And then their Web3 applications will be automatically using the underlying decentralized cloud and computing power.
Okay, that makes sense. And you mentioned there doing it in a decentralized way, as decentralized applications are by nature. But I'm curious, in the way that it's decentralized, having anybody be able to contribute, whether it's their computing power or their resources, is that something that people involved in blockchain can help contribute their resources into Computecoin?
Exactly. So now, as I said, we are an aggregator, right? Which integrates all these computing powers, storage powers, machines, basically. So we already be able to integrate the traditional data centers, all these IDCs, and also ETH mining machines, and the major decentralized storage rigs, for example, like Filecoin, Chia, Swarm, BZZ, and AR, Arwave. So we recently we just integrated HNT Helium basically to use their bandwidth, right? And basically we already integrate all these powerful hardwares. So our providers, they are IDC center owners, they are crypto mining farm owners, and we already have like more than 200K computing power providers and the storage power providers from more than 25 countries in the world. Wow. And this is very encouraging. We achieved this within 4 months. We launched our testnet early November last year. So by the end of March, we already have this amount of computing power in our network. So it's a pure decentralized, and people contribute from these countries, which I don't know their name, right? And the total computing power in our testnet domain is already larger than the #1 supercomputer in the world, which is named Fugaku, located in Japan for scientific computing. We already surpassed their computing power, so which is amazing.
That is amazing. And I was reading into the computing resources, and with Computecoin, I saw something about merged mining technology. Can you talk about that merge and what that involves?
Well, that's the most one of the most beautiful parts in our technology, the merged mining technology. So what does that mean? That means like let's say if you're a crypto mining machine, like say Filecoin, for example, right? So what you need to do is like you just install our client, the CCN client, and then start mining CCN. But in the meanwhile, you're still keep mining Filecoin. There's no conflict. And you can do both. That means what? That means you can earn much more. There's nothing hurts, right? And nothing to lose. And in the meanwhile, CCN gonna give you, because we have lots of real data coming to us, right? So we're gonna give this real data to Filecoin mining machines for storage service. And of course, they're gonna pay for that kind of storage, the real data storage from our clients, right? Just like people go to Expedia and book a hotel from a Hilton, and Hilton gonna get paid. Of course, Expedia gonna get get some commission fee by doing this, by providing the service, right? So we are doing the similar thing. The business model is quite similar. So then let's say then the Filecoin mining miners, they enjoy this more income from CCN, right? So that means they can earn Filecoin as they did before, and meanwhile they earn CCN tokens, and they may have lots of real data comes from CCN platform for storage, and they got paid. So this is lots of this is a very big extra income, right, for these miners. So that's why starting from early November last year, just a full month, we have so many miners join us from 25 countries in the world, because they got lots of benefits from CCN mining.
That's incredible. And you mentioned earlier there that you were launching the Testnet. I'm curious if the Testnet for the merged miners and also for the applications that are being launched, are you receiving real tokens and rewards while it's on the testnet, or is that at a later stage?
Yeah, it will be the later stage. We have a testnet tokens right now, and so and later on when we launch our mainnet in the summer this year, so our testnet tokens will be converted to mainnet tokens.
Very cool. And I feel like this is a very, there's a lot to it. It's complex in building it with your team. How long has your team been working on the Computecoin network?
Well, this is a very good question. Basically, we, the story of the project is fascinating, because we actually, I'm a faculty member at the Columbia University, basically working with the electrical engineering department. And at the very beginning, this Computecoin stuff is a research topic. Back to 2018. So, a few researchers, my colleagues, we start working on this thing since that, from that time, and then we, over the past few years, we have U.S. patents granted from the U.S. Patent Office, and we published, academic papers on the world best journals. And then early last year, people start to talk about Web3 and the Metaverse, right? Back to 2018, there's no Web3 or Metaverse, right? So early last year, everyone started to boom talking about the Metaverse, Web3. It's the word is everywhere, right? And then we did lots of review and on the whole industry, and we identified that big missing piece. And then we look back what we have done so far in a research lab, and we found out that all the papers, all the solutions we have is a perfect fit to build the Web3 infrastructure for Web3 and the Metaverse. So then early last year, it's not that early, the May last year, 2021, we officially brought these research results from the research lab to the industry as a product, and then we came up with the name Computecoin. So yeah, that's the story. So basically, we have been working this for almost 4 years.
Wow, very cool story, Dr. Lee. And you mentioned there about the metaverse as well. Now, we've seen decentralized applications being hosted on the Ethereum network, at least for many years now. But the metaverse seems to take it to the next level, with a lot more intensity of computing power needed and better graphics.
Exactly.
And hopefully, right now the metaverse, the graphics aren't incredible, but I have a feeling that in the very near future, it's going to move to something that is incredible, and that's going to require a lot of power. How focused is your team on ensuring the metaverse is, computing fluidly and it's being hosted in the proper way?
Well, then this is what I said. So the infrastructure, if the infrastructure can provide low latency and low cost of computing power, so all the metaverse applications will come true. Otherwise, they're gonna go nowhere. Yeah, because the latency gonna give you this local motion sickness, right? So people cannot bear wearing a VR glass for hours. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes is okay, right? Play some game. But all your life goes there, like a social networking, like meeting, working, gaming, everything. Then you wear like a 10 hours VR glass per day. Yeah, you can die, you're dying, right? So it's all because it's a locomotion sickness, and then fundamentally it is because the latency issue, right? And also the cost. Everyone is complaining the AWS and Google Cloud when they pay the bill every month. Wow, it's expensive, right? So, and in the coming years, especially for these Metaverse applications, one is wanna like have a very immersive experience, right? You need lots of computing powers for the real-time 3D rendering and pre-processing your sensor data on your environment, lots of very intensive computing tasks in real time. And then the cost, right? The computing power cost is critical. So, and if we can resolve these two problems from the infrastructure level, then we're done. We are able to support all the kinds of Metaverse applications. And CCN's basic idea on this is we leverage two key technologies. One is edge computing, which is already well known and utilized in 5G network. And the second is the networking science for the load balancing and the traffic scheduling, all these type of things. So the edge computing, maybe I think you already have some background on that. So it's like let's say if I'm in the Central Park in Manhattan, right? I'm wearing a VR glass and I want to play some game or social or whatever. So the edge computing network gonna in Computecoin, we're gonna form a proximity network around you, right? So this computing power is just around you in Manhattan, Jersey, and Long Island City, for example. And they're gonna, because they're close to you, right? So they're gonna offer you low latency and also low cost because we have so many small servers around you. There are mining machines, there are small IDCs, and private cloud providers, for example. And then the cost is much lower than compared with the AWS, and they offer you the low latency service as well. So it's all thanks to this cutting edge technologies, so we can support Metaverse applications in the near future.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out, especially after the mainnet launch that you mentioned near the end of this year, tentatively. And I would love to get a better picture on what you and your team have as the main goals between now and that mainnet launch and what needs to get done.
Yeah. It's wonderful. Great.
So, Dr. Lee, what would you say are some of the main roadmap points that you and your team need to get in the next 6 months towards the mainnet launch?
Yeah, basically our mainnet launch will be in this summer, not the end of the year. Yeah, this summer we're gonna and the after the mainnet launch, we're gonna in the fall. Basically, we plan to list our tokens on centralized exchange, and before that, we may do the public sale, token sale, probably. And then our target is by the end of this year. So we are targeting at least 50 to 100 very active Metaverse and the Web3 applications running on CCN. Which we feel very confident on that, because so far even we just have our testnet only. We already have like 10 plus applications running on our testnet. They already enjoyed a lot from our services basically. And more importantly, it's like this. So why we feel confident, because the cost, because I mentioned the cost and the low latency, low cost, right? So the cost compared with the AWS and Google Cloud, we can reduce that cost by 30% to 50%. So based on the pilot we're doing with some companies in the States right now, AI companies, or so who need lots of computing powers for their avatar training or whatever. So, and this is a big selling point, and this is a lot savings, right? So with all these pilots experience from the pilots, we feel confident that by the end of this year we're gonna have like maybe hundreds of applications running on CCN. So that's the goal. After we launch our mainnet, all our focus is to provide or further improve the performance of our mainnet and also the developer tools, make it more comprehensive, more easier for developers to use. And then, developers will come to us and then start to build some cool stuff.
That's great. I'm looking forward to that. And for the viewers that are looking to follow along for that mainnet launch and also to get involved with the merged mining and helping in any way with Computecoin, what is the best way for them to learn more?
Yeah, so basically we have our website. There's lots of information there. And also we have our own, on the website, we have our own wiki page. So in the wiki page, we have different sections for one section for miners, one section for developers, one section for token holders. So no matter what role you're playing right now, you can join us in some way. So we have lots of detailed documents there, and you can follow and get to know us.
Awesome. Sounds great. Dr. Lee, thank you so much. I will leave the Computecoin links as well in the description box below for the viewers. All the best with everything moving forward towards the mainnet launch of Computecoin, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure.